Hi, my name is Neil van der Merwe. I've been an orthotist for more than 20 years now, and I've been fortunate enough to be able to gain the knowledge and experience in manufacturing orthotics and prosthetics over the years. This short video will hopefully provide you with a broader understanding of the manufacturing process and the raw materials used to create custom-made foot orthotics. Enjoy the video. Here are my 2 feet. I'll just clean them off with a steel brush just to make sure most of the foam is off the Plaster of Paris. And then the first thing I'm going to do is I'm just going to smooth off the surface on the forefoot and on the rear foot. And so this is what I'm going to do. I'm just going to keep my surfform blades nice and straight. I've got a semi-round surfform blade that's been modified for orthotics. And I'm just going to smooth those surfaces. And what I want to do is I want to try and get it so that when I put the foot down onto the plantar surface on a flat surface now, that it'll just be nice and straight and no more rocking. So let's just see the difference between these two. Yeah, we got a little bit of movement, and that one we've got no movement. So we got the 3 arches, which got your transverse arch, which runs across where the metatarsals are. Okay, and then we've got our lateral longitudinal arch, which runs approximately in that direction. And then we've got our medial arch over here, which runs in this direction. So we've got our first metatarsal is sitting approximately there. I want to mark it out nice and clearly where my metatarsal heads would be, and I want to put a bit of pressure right behind those metatarsal heads. The real principle behind foot orthotics is that what the foot orthotic is doing, it's redistributing the weight load over the entire foot. So that's critical. And I don't normally do this, but for the video I'm just going to show you where I'll be concentrating on and what area that I'll be removing a little bit of plaster, and that'll be in this area over here, just a little bit, and also a little bit here on both sides. And I want to be able to make sure that they are approximately the same. The prescription will be for full length foot orthotics, metatarsal offloading. So we've got a problem over there, and we've got a situation here with the 5th met head, which is obviously causing a lot of pain for this patient. They've got a callus over here on this 5th metatarsal head, so I have to make sure that I offload that sufficiently, and I'm going to draw where I'm going to be offloading. Offloading, basically what that means is that I want to be putting a little bit of pressure behind that area, behind the metatarsals, and by putting a bit of pressure over here in this area, we're going to offload these metatarsals, and specifically this 5th met. Just to remove a little bit of plaster, just want to smooth it up a little bit. I'm not going to take off a lot of Plaster of Paris, smoothing it up, removing a bit of plaster from the sides so I can remove that edge over there and make that nice and smooth. Now I've got this one almost done, and I'm going to use a little modified kitchen tool that I've got here. I've just taken a teaspoon, just sharpened the edges, and I've got a nice teardrop shape here to form my depression for my metatarsals. So I'm just removing a bit of plaster there. Then I've got this little modified rasping tool that I've also created a little round end over there, and that's going to just to smooth that out nicely. And I want to go right behind that metatarsal, and I want to just remove a bit of material over there as well, because it's not going to help if I just remove over there. So basically what I'm doing is I'm creating a metatarsal bar of sorts. So back in the day they used to do this on the shoes, but now with modern technology and with orthotics you can actually put it inside the shoe. So these are orthotics that are going to be going and be placed inside a shoe. So here we go. I'm just removing the plaster just a little bit more. I'm concentrating obviously in this area over here, making it slightly deeper in the front section. At this stage now, this is important now to check to see if my metatarsal pressure is going to be in the right place. So I've now formed the back over here at the heel, and just popping those two together, and there I can already see, okay, yeah, we got a situation here. So we've got our left foot that is actually slightly longer than our right foot. Here you can definitely clearly see it. You know, we've got our sulcus is in this form, and our sulcus is over here. So we've got about a centimeter difference. I've got this arbanet strip. Basically it's just like sandpaper. It's got a bit of a fluffy end on this side so that it can absorb some water and it doesn't fall apart. So it's quite a fine meshed arbanet. I do have a rougher one over here that I use for other casts, but for foot orthotics you only need to remove very little bit of material. Okay, so we just get that wet and we can start smoothing this down nicely. We've got our two casts nice and smooth. The next step would be for the vacuum forming. Take these two sheets of feather crepe and we're going to put them in the oven, heat them up to about 150 degrees, and then we're going to then mold this. Here we got our little oven. Just modified it a little bit. Our seal over here, and this is our diaphragm over here. So we're going to have to make sure that the diaphragm sucks down nicely onto these casts. Okay, there you go. We've got a nice, the diaphragm is sucking down nicely. So now we're going to be gluing the two pieces of feather crepe together. Now this is our second piece. And here's my glue. The glue that I use is a CBA 220. Which is a neoprene adhesive, and it is extremely strong. It's just the strongest glue that I can get from Royal Adhesives. Alright, so let's get these two in. First piece. We're just going to heat that surface. Okay, and then I'm closing my lid. What we're going to do next is we're going to flatten out this front portion where the toes are to turn this into a full-length orthotic. We'll heat this up with a heat gun until it softens up a bit. Fine, put that down and then just give it a bit of pressure, flatten that out nicely. So what I normally do for a full length, I just take the inner out of the shoe, and in this case it's a hockey shoe, and traced out that inner on the box, and I'm just going to cut that little inner out nice and sharp with a very sharp edge. I'm just going to just round that off nicely. Do it exactly on the other side. Now with this one, both the feet are exactly the same size, so I'm not going to worry too much about. Yep, that looks good. Okay, now the next step, now we're just going to finish grinding all this and just neaten this up for the next step. Do a little mark on this side, a mark on that side. We'll call this number 1. That fits nicely. Okay, so let's get ready to start gluing these down. So we've got our 3mm Orthotics, we've got our 4mm feather crepe. That's the hard material. It's a very, very hard foam. The nice thing about this is that although it's hard, it's still maintains its flexibility. So, you know, as the patient steps down, it'll shape, and it won't give too much pressure on the arch, and it'll always form back. So you're always getting that total contact and offloading all the time, which is necessary for a pair of orthotics. So let's get gluing. We've got to this point now where we're going to just do our top covers. We've got the interface. This is the top cover interface that is nice and soft, the Orthorex material. We've got our little 7mm here at the sesamoid on the first metatarsal on both of those. We've cleaned it up nicely. Everything looks good, nice and mirror imaged, and so far it looks really good. And what we're going to do now is we're going to cover these with an antimicrobial and antifungal top liner called Orthotics. So we're going to glue these down again, same procedure as the previous time. You have to just make sure you get this right and your alignment is correct. There's not much margin for error, as these are all cut to the same size. Get that down again all the way, and then get that medial side down as well. Okay, so we've cut these little guys out. Orthotics, we got our Orthorex, and we've got our feather crepe. Once I've finished the orthotics, I will put them into a little plastic sleeve, and every single client will get one of these little information forms just to explain to them about what a custom foot orthotic is, what they can expect while they're wearing it, and also very, very important, the warning.